Hello and welcome to the Minority. Sorry, I had a croc moment.
Oh, wow,
Hello and
thanks.
welcome to the Minorities report. I'm Chris.
I'm corrupt. Apparently, I make all sorts of accidents. So thank you.
We got some spicy topics this time. Well, we got one good topic. Everything else is kind of spicy.
Pretty much.
I want to clarify first. A correction on the previous video.
Yes.
I said that Jojolian was the last JoJo part. Somebody sent to me, apparently that's not the case. There is a part 9 coming out. I don't know what to believe anymore.
You were just lied to, right?
I was just lied to. Okay, correction over. You can all shut up about it. What do you want to talk about first?
Alright, I kind of want to talk about the two guys who fell from, like, the planes in Afghanistan. I mean...
You just want to briefly talk about Afghanistan as a whole? You're not gonna get any fucking hard political talk here, but we're just gonna briefly talk about it.
Alright, yeah, let's do it. I mean, we can't... it's kind of hard to avoid since that's the only fucking thing people are talking about is fucking Afghanistan. So I guess we can spend at least like a few minutes on it, and then we'll get back to actual entertaining shit.
Sure.
Alright. Okay. Okay, I'll start then.
Yes.
Okay, because I thought you were gonna start, and then you were really quiet, so I'm like, oh wait, it's me. Okay. So... we pulled out of Afghanistan. For those who don't know, brief summary. We pulled out of Afghanistan. However, we left weapons and ammunition and aircraft behind for the Taliban, who came in, apparently shook hands with the Afghani army, and then they took all the shit that we left behind, and now everything's gone to shit, and everything's being attacked. And people are trying desperately to get out of the country. And people were so desperate, they were trying to grab onto the plane as it was while it was on the runway. And then two guys who were still on the plane fell off in midair.
Oops.
Oof. Big oof. And... right now, girls apparently have to go back home. They can't learn their ABCs anymore, and women have to wear the face mask, niqab. I think that's what they're called.
Yeah, it's hijab or niqab. There's different versions.
Yeah.
I think it depends on faith.
Yes, and now they all have to wear
some can have just you can show your face. Some have to be the full. Can't show anything.
Yeah, now they're dressed...
except eyes, that's it.
Now they're dressed like Bloodborne monsters again. So... there you go. So that's the big situation in Afghanistan.
Yes.
We didn't want to talk... Go ahead.
Good one, America.
Yeah.
I know it's not just America's fault, it is the country's fault. There's a lot of problems going on in that country. But America deciding... let's pull out now and leave everything behind.
That
sounds like a good idea.
Terrible idea. Oh my god.
And then Biden's sticking by it. I think we're sticking by this. Where am I? Who am I?
What am I?
Is that a little girl over there?
I love the sniff sound. He can smell women from 20 miles away. The younger, the more potent his powers.
Potent his powers.
Exactly. So, yeah, we didn't want to talk. I don't think either of us really wanted to talk about it too much, but I mean,
we don't really know that much about what the fuck's going on in Afghanistan.
Pretty much.
All that it's really bad. That's it.
Exactly.
Well, I will say the New Zealand Prime Minister was she said I plead with the Taliban to uphold human rights. I'm like, you fucking serious?
Are you really?
Are you really that dumb?
You think really uphold human rights?
You think the fucking Taliban of all people are gonna just oh shit, we're sorry.
Let's
I guess she's right.
let's listen to this lady from another fucking country, and maybe she'll tell us what to do.
Not even just another country. Listen to a lady. Remember, this is the Taliban.
I know, right? Like, what are you hoping to achieve here? Like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, like basically, we didn't even want to really talk about it. We didn't really want to talk about it. It's just that we kind of everything is being drowned out by this subject, and literally nothing is really happening. So here we are talking about Afghanistan.
Yeah. That's all we're going to talk about it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's all you get. You don't get hard-hitting political opinions here. That's not what we're about, lads.
Yes.
And lasses. The hell?
So, Disney. What have Disney done this time?
Oh, so okay. So this is like an irritating situation right here. Or not irritating, but it's a I don't know why I say irritating, but look, this is a complicated situation here. Okay, so Scarlett Johannson is suing Disney because originally they had a contract, if I'm not mistaken, where like the typical contract of where she would get such and such amount of money due to like the box office and shit. However, this happened before the coronavirus. And I think this was before Disney Plus was where they dropped them, and they dropped it on Disney Plus. So when she was kind of robbed out of a lot of money because like Disney Plus made like they made a decent amount on the movie, right? Whereas, like, in the movie theater, it had, like, a weak opening, and then it had a really dramatic drop-off, like, a massive drop-off. And she felt she was entitled to more money than this.
Yes.
Okay.
You're a fucking celebrity. You don't need any more. But she is in the right. They did fuck her over.
Exactly.
They went against her contract.
Exactly, because they weren't supposed and released it on Disney Plus as well, and they got a lot of the money from that. So what made the situation worse, because the situation got worse, Disney then accused her of trying to of using basically of ignoring the pandemic. And just being insensitive to the fact that, like, COVID's a thing. And basically they just, like, publicly shamed her, which pissed her off. And then, I forgot what group it was, accused Disney of being, like, sexist or something like that. And then it turned into and it's gotten kind of ugly. And turned into a public back and forth.
Which leads to apparently Disney cutting her off.
Yes. So, like, I imagine what they're going
Which is funny, is like, well, she's no longer going to be in future Disney products. Well, yeah, definitely not in the MCU. Her fucking character's dead.
Pretty much, yeah, I guess so, you're right. Because her character is dead. So, they really don't need her for any future MCU projects.
Yeah.
Also,
and I don't even think just Disney products in general. It seems.
Oh, it's okay. So that was what the Tower of Terror is, right?
Vaguely, yes.
Okay,
I've heard of it. Yeah.
The Tower of Terror, for people who don't know, is an attraction in Disney, and it's more or less a big scary like ride where you go onto an elevator and the elevator drops, right? And stops. And it's like a free-falling type of thing. And that's the Tower of Terror. And Disney apparently were making a movie about that Scarlett Johannson was going to be a part of, or in. But now, who the fuck knows? Probably not, since she sued them, and they said a bunch of shit to her. And, like, it's gotten really messy. I saw an article that said that Disney was going to, like, have better reactions to to their to like conflicts like this with their talent. Also, this isn't in the news because like it's kind of an aside, but what is it? Shang, the guy who plays like Shang-Chi, the movie nobody's interested in. Like Bob Chapek, who's like I think he's the current CEO or head of Disney. He said that like they were using Shang-Chi as an experiment, and that the Shang-Chi dude got like, or Shang-Chi or however you pronounce it, he got really angry and said like, we are not an experiment, we are visible, we are a voice, and turned it into some weird like pseudo racism thing where like we are visible, we are heard, like as if like Bob Chapek was saying like, who cares about Asians? Like I don't think he said that. Like just like a lot of it, like the thing with Disney is that like not only is it just an awful company that like raises its prices and overcharges people and like monopolizes content and just produces the most just redundant shit, but it also treats its stars and its employees like shit. Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew? Oh, let's see. What else? Is there anything else you want to add to this topic here?
Oh. It's just Disney being shitty as usual.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like there's no surprise here.
Yeah, I'm not really surprised actually. I'm not really.
Like, I'm sorry, Scarlett, but you should have known that Disney doesn't care about you. They care about money. Should be obvious by the numerous MCU films they keep announcing, the pointless live-action remakes of their classic properties. Like, they don't care. Well, except when it comes to money, they do care.
Pretty much, like, Disney doesn't care about anything else except money and bad publicity. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if you think about it, like, they are a corporation regardless of how much, like, shit they want to tell you about how we're a family and, like, you're always one of us and all this other, like how progressive and awesome we are. At the end of the day, they're still a company and they care more about money than anything else. That's why, like, I still can't find the lesbian scene in the Star Trek movie. Was it Rise of the Skywalker or whatever?
Yeah, you mean Star Wars?
Star Wars. Oh, did I say Star Trek?
Yeah, you better watch out. You don't want to bring back the Trek versus Star Wars.
Oh my god, that was so awful.
But yeah, like that scene, which is purposely created in a way that can be edited out in countries where homosexuality is frowned upon or illegal.
Exactly.
In the Middle East.
Exactly, or China, like.
Or Russia.
Ooh, duh. But like, it's ridiculous though because like I like because I watched the movie with a few people in the VC, right, and I could not find, like, I did not see that scene. Like, people are like, oh, there's the
It's like literally a few seconds. It's a nothing scene with a nothing character.
Like, so I'm not even surprised though. Like, Disney's like, oh, we're so progressive, except when it comes to like money, yay! Like, that's why they thanked the people near, like, when they were filming at a concentration camp.
Yeah.
So there you are. There's your glowing Walt Disney right there. We care so much about the world, yet we're happy to do shit like this. Oh.
Yeah.
Do you, in news no one cares about, maybe? Oh, I do care about this. I find it kind of bad. Did you know Sony finally bought Crunchyroll?
Yeah, yes. Funimation and Crunchyroll are now together.
That makes me so sad because that's more of a monopoly, and I don't like monopolies. Especially with how...
boy, the translations aren't going to be as good as usual. Or Crunchyroll, so...
especially with, like...
Most of their translations aren't good anyway. They just put their own politics into it.
I know, right?
Fucking, like, what was it, Dragon Maid had some random, like, Gamergate reference.
I know, yes! And I'm like, oh my god.
There's like some anime. I don't know which one, but
Like it's like that, and Sony is like notorious for their like unfair censorship practices and shit too. So like when it comes to Japanese media, so I am not terribly happy about this situation, but I mean,
yeah,
Crunchyroll didn't have the best track record for that shit either. So fuck. I guess it is what it is. So I mean, it's not like both of them, but you know, monopolies generally aren't that great for anybody. But hey, it finally happened. I kind of assumed it would, and
yeah.
here we are with like Funnyroll or whatever the hell they're gonna call themselves. Let's see what else we got. We got Scarlett Johannson,
We did that.
Afghanistan.
Talk
Is there anything else
about.
that's interesting to you that like isn't really a big cultural thing you want to talk about?
Oh, except for our last one, no.
Oh,
No, nothing. It's been kind of quite a week.
it has been pretty dead. Oh,
Aside from Afghanistan, but that's it.
would you like to hear about my really depressing like trip to the comic book store?
Go ahead.
Okay.
That'll lead us into a comic book film, so
Awesome.
it'll be a good segue.
Okay, all right. So you know, I wanted to get the what is it? The bisexual Tim Drake fucking issue of what is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Batman Urban Legends.
Yeah, like the gay Robin, as I'm gonna call it. So I went to the store to get gay. I went to like this, cause okay, so there's only like a few comic book stores near me, right? And there's one kind of close to me in another county that I went to, because I'm like. Because I was talking to Jess, and Jess was like, "Oh, here's like the issue," and I'm like, "You need to buy it because it's gonna be worth some money." And Jess confirmed this by looking it up online, and people already are charging like $30 to $50 to $90 for it, right? So it's gonna go up in price. So
Yeah.
because the speculator market isn't bad, am I right? So I go to this disgusting little comic book store that's near me, and all the way in another county, just to find it, and they don't have it. I'm like, do they have variants? They don't have any variants. They are completely sold out of this fucking comic. So Jess is like, oh, well, why don't you get some comic books since it is free comic book day? I'm like, okay, fine, I'll give me some comic books, right? So I go in there, and it is just gross. Like the shelf where the action figures are is like caked in like 50 layers of dust. And like I didn't want to go any further down the aisle because I almost threw up in my mouth when I did. The closer I went down there. I mean, and it's so dark, like the lights are off, and like it's dingy, and like there's like it's filthy, and there's dust just everywhere. And then I go look for some comics, and the comics, like, dude, I don't know where anything is because everything is just packed like tightly packed together, so you can't even just tell what you're looking at because they're all floppies, right? So, like, all you can really do is just sort randomly through books and everything. And there's, like, and none of the issues are, like, together. They're all, like, random issues put together. So, I'm, like, I see, like, a random issue of death metal mixed in with, like, other random shit. I saw some comic I've never heard of called Gin Hunter. And it was just not good. Oh, I'll tell you one thing that made me laugh that I wanted to buy, but they had like a copy of like, what was it? Rosa Parks on a bus. What is it? It was called Montgomery or something, and it was just some random comic about Rosa Parks. I'm like, I really wanted to buy this, but I felt like I'd be ashamed of myself if I did. I wanted to buy this so fucking badly. I was just like, oh my god, this looks so fucking good. This would totally be good for my channel. But then I'm like, how do I explain to anybody, like, oh yeah, sir, can I buy this random comic about Rosa Parks on the bus? And it was like, oh yeah, there was also some random Pride fucking thing. There's also some random like Pride comic that was like just sitting out there randomly, and like, but for the most part, like a lot of it was just ugh. And then Mech told me that's how comic book shops are, and I'm like, are they really like this? Because I haven't been to a comic book shop in years, but I do not remember them being like this nasty and this bad. And then Jess was like,
Probably just the American ones.
uh,
My ones here are pretty good.
Jess told me like a lot of comic book shops are like this. And like I'm so surprised because I remember a comic book shop that I used to go to when I was a kid that was like clean and interesting to look at. That had cool shit everywhere. And this place is just fucking nasty. It looks depressing. Oh, also there's like, guess how many like aisles of Funko Pops there were?
Oh, let me guess. Shit ton.
Dude, there's like 5 aisles of Funko Pops.
God.
Dude, they took up like they were.
That's like at like EB Games where there's like just a entire section, just a wall of like Funko Pops. 2 walls of Funko Pops. I'm like, damn, we live in a society.
We do, like, where people are, and people were talking about, like, Funko Pops in there. Like, they were talking about, like, oh, I see why people like these things. They come in so much variety.
Did you get the Walking Dead one?
There's a Walking Dead Funko Pop.
Probably. There's Funko Pops of everything.
I feel like I should send you a Funko Pop.
Don't.
You don't want me to send you a Funko Pop of, like,
No.
of Omni-Man or something like that?
No.
You like Invincible? Would you like a Funko Pop?
No thanks.
Oh, also there's a season 3 of The Boys coming out.
Not surprised.
If anybody's...
I haven't watched season 2 yet.
I haven't watched... You know what I still haven't watched? I still haven't watched Invincible, and I still haven't watched The Boys.
I haven't watched Invincible.
Wait, you haven't watched Invincible yet?
No.
Thank God I'm not the only one in the server who hasn't. I just no interest, honestly. Oh, have you heard of Dead Space?
Yes.
Have you played the games?
I have. I've played all 3 of them.
Oh, guess what I watched? I watched both animated movies.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. It has 2.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting there's 2. I know there's Downfall. I keep forgetting about the second one.
So Aftermath. Okay. So Aftermath is interesting. Downfall, it's like your standard kind of zombie movie, but like Aftermath is interesting because like it's not so much about like the monsters or the necromorphs or whatever, as much as it's about like the conspiracy surrounding them and how like the Unitologist Church wants to like purposely expose people to
Necromorphs.
Necromorphs, yeah.
The whole it's the evolution of humanity.
Getting
Sure it is.
exactly getting
Fucking crazy church.
exactly getting killed and then turned into like giant monster moons. Like that's exactly the convergence or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much that. Like, they were pretty good. I thought I didn't know what to expect. The first one, like I said, was a pretty standard zombie movie. It was pretty interesting, and then the second one was like, it was much more about the Unitologist Church and how like they are fucking devious. Like holy shit, they like okay. So the main like spoiler for anybody who's interested in watching this. So after they framed this one chick for the murders that happened aboard like one of the ships where the necromorph attacks happened, right? They then like they said they like dealt with her and lobotomized her.
Of course.
I'm like, Jesus, they're fucking holy shit. They are serious as fuck about this. All right, so we can We can go into comic book movie time if you want to.
Yes. I just have to ask first.
What's that?
What are we, some kind of Suicide Squad?
Oh my god, I thought you'd say that.
So we watched Suicide Squad, the
Yes.
Suicide Squad, because we don't want to confuse it with the terrible Suicide Squad film
Okay,
starring Will Smith
so you
and Jared
know,
Leto.
so you know it actually is called the Suicide Squad. That's literally the only difference between like Suicide Squad and this one. I thought this one was called. Yeah, I thought this one was called Suicide Squad 2. But no, it's called the Suicide
because
Squad.
we talked about this. It's essentially a soft reboot. Because it doesn't make any references to the other
movie,
Suicide
right?
Squad or even Birds of Prey with Harley. But I think it's supposed to be in the same universe because it still has the same Rick Flag, same Harley, same Captain Boomerang, and they all act like they know each other. So that's the only reference
That you get. It's funny that Boomerang is that. It's funny because Captain Boomerang was killed in the first one in Suicide Squad 2, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was the first person who was killed.
No, that was Blackguard.
Oh,
Pete Davidson's character.
no, I mean in the first Suicide Squad movie, wasn't he killed?
No, that was Slipknot, the man that can climb.
Oh, that was Slipknot. Okay, never mind.
You know, the guy that was in all the promotional material, he dies like 10 minutes after he's introduced.
Well, yeah, okay, so like this guy, okay. But yeah, like that's where he, okay, yeah, like Boomerang, yeah, Captain Boomerang. And what's really sad about that is Captain Boomerang actually is kind of a badass in like the little bit of time he actually gets to be shown.
Yeah, compared to the first one where it's just like, I got this camera on my boomerang, we'll use it to have a look. So, we'll talk about we're going to be spoiling everything, so if you haven't watched it, that's your fault, not ours. That's
Yes.
your problem, not an us problem.
Exactly.
So, the plot of The Suicide Squad is that Amanda Waller creates a new Suicide Squad to go infiltrate the Corto Maltese to take down Project Starfish, which houses Starro the Conqueror, making his live-action debut. And that's the plot of the film. The Suicide Squad trying to take down Starro.
Pretty much, yeah. What's funny about
There's a misdirect at the start, which I think it's a very obvious misdirect given by all like the promotional material.
exactly like
We're introduced to Savant, played by Michael Rooker, who fucking Yondu from Guardians.
Am I the only one? Hold on. Am I the only one who thought he was kind of cool as Savant?
Yeah.
And then he dies, and I'm like, I didn't even get a chance to see him do anything.
Yeah. So we're introduced to Savant as he's put into the Suicide Squad with Blackguard, TDK, Weasel, Javelin, Harley, Rick Flag, Mongal. They're told to go to infiltrate Corto Maltese. Blackguard actually portrays them all.
Yeah.
He just gets shot in the face anyway.
Pretty much, yeah.
And the whole sequence is, aside from Rick Flag, Harley, and then revealed very much later on, Weasel, everyone else dies. It's a huge misdirect, but it was kind of obvious if you've been watching the promotional material that they were obviously going to die because they're not featured as much as the other characters.
Pretty much, and like there was all this talk about like John Cena and what's his fucking name? I can never remember.
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba, thank you. I like him too, but like it was obvious that they were gonna be the leads of this movie. Well, them and Harley, because one, it's Harley, and two, like none of them were featured or promoted as much. Like they're on maybe like a few posters with the actual team, but like not to any severe degree, and they're killed pretty quickly too. Like you get like a few minutes.
They're all except for 3 people. They're all killed off in a classic misdirect. Because the whole point, as it turns out, they were the distraction for the actual Suicide Squad.
Then
we go into a flashback of that Suicide Squad being formed. You have Idris Elba as Bloodsport, and I don't know if this was done on purpose, because apparently he was supposed to replace Will Smith as Deadshot, but they decided to give him a different character,
which is basically just the same character.
So they do the whole kind of Deadshot thing where he's in jail, he has a daughter, and that seems to be like his main motivation for wanting to be to accept being on the Suicide Squad. He gets to see his daughter even more. But no, they're both assholes to each other. Yeah, they fucking hate each other.
Exactly, it's funny too. Deadshot's not Deadshot. My bad. Bloodsport only cares about the fact that doesn't care. So his daughter gets arrested or gets in trouble for stealing, right? But he isn't angry that she stole. He's angry that she got caught, and she got caught stealing something stupid like a sports watch.
Yeah. And that leads to his main motivation for being to accepting being in the Suicide Squad is that Waller blackmails him into thinking that she's going to put his daughter in Belle Revere and maybe put her in the Suicide Squad. Or use her for some shady shit.
Basically, yeah.
They say, fine, whatever, I'll do it.
Yeah, exactly.
He gets introduced to the rest of the team. We have John Cena. Somehow we were able to see him in the film. Surprisingly.
I'm surprised too. I didn't think I'd be able to see him. You can't see people.
Yeah.
But that's maybe
obviously deep faked him.
Deep fake John Cena as Peacemaker.
As Peacemaker, and then we get introduced to Ratcatcher 2, Polka Dot Man, and King Shark.
Yeah.
And they're given the mission to infiltrate Project Starfish and destroy everything there. Leave nothing behind. And it goes back to present day where they're doing the whole mission.
And I will say one thing about the and you mentioned this too, and I was actually kind of disappointed in it, that they didn't do anything with Mungal. They just
they kill her off. She jumps on a helicopter and accidentally causes it to crash.
I mean,
it just burns alive.
She's like the daughter of Mongol. She should basically be able to kill off their entire military by herself. I mean,
yeah.
The fact that she dies that quickly, it's just you couldn't have used an actually disposable character. I mean, you have hell, you could have used fucking Copperhead. No, what's his name?
Yeah.
Seriously.
The snake one?
Yeah, the snake dude. You could have used Copperhead. He wears a giant cobra costume.
Yeah. I'm a contortionist. Okay.
That's my superpower.
He'd be the Slipknot of the film. That's the pointless ability.
Contortionist.
And I would say, I don't know if you agree with me. I'd say the main star of these films are definitely Bloodsport, Peacemaker, and Ratcatcher.
Yes, they are.
They had the best development and moments.
Yes. You know what's interesting about the movie though, and I don't know if you, but everyone's backstory was revealed except for Peacemaker's.
Yeah. Because plot twist, he's technically kind of a double agent.
Yeah, he works directly for Waller.
Yes, because once they infiltrate Project Starfish, they discover that this was all pretty much done by Americans. It wasn't done just by the Cultural Maltese government. Americans who were doing this are experimenting on people to figure out Starro and all that. And then Rick Flag's well, we got to tell everyone about this. This is disgusting. This is horrific. We have to tell everyone. And Peacemaker's nope. If this happens, it's gonna cause chaos.
Yeah.
And Waller told me I have to stop this information from getting out. So that leads to Peacemaker and Flag fighting, and Peacemaker killing Flag.
What I really hated that scene because I loved them both as characters, and I did not want Rick
Oh
Flag
yeah,
to
Rick
die.
Flag was so much better in this film.
He was such a great character.
Rick Flag got a huge fucking improvement compared to compared to the first one.
He was
Like,
such a
he has
great
these
character.
terrible fucking lines. This is Katana. She's got my back. She can cut you all in one sword swoop like mowing the lawn. I'd advise not getting cut by her. Her sword traps the souls of its victims. It's like, there's all these terrible lines. He's such a nothing character in in Suicide Squad, but in this one, he's like so much better.
He's a great character. Like, he has like a great motivation. He's likable. He's like, and he's interesting. He's intelligent. He's a great leader. He is a great fucking character. But then they kill him off, and I'm like, God damn! Why did you have to kill him off?
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I think it was just to set up the final showdown between Peacemaker and Bloodsport, because that's something they built up throughout the film.
Oh yeah,
them
that they
being
were
kind of rivals.
Yeah, and
like he does what I do, yeah, but much better.
Yeah, like I have smaller bullets. My smaller bullets go through the bullet holes.
Yeah.
And then like
when they infiltrate, they accidentally kill the resistant members, and they're just trying to like one up each other.
Yes, they were trying to one up each other. Yeah, to see who can get. That
was another good misdirect. It just turns out like Rick Flag wasn't captured; he's being treated.
Yeah, he was
just accidentally killed the potential allies.
Exactly, they killed all these allies and shit, and it's just like, oh. That sucked, man, because I really liked Rick Flag as a character, but I love Peacemaker and Bloodsport. Oh, I fucking love their, like, rivalry and shit. Yeah. And, like, especially when, Peacemaker says, like, he's cool, like, his kills are dope as fuck. What did he say? Like...
Yeah, something like that.
Like, yeah, my kills are dope as fuck. And then, like, fucking Bloodsport was like, damn, he's right. Because, like, what happens is that, like, Peacemaker uses these hollow bullets that explode once they're inside of you, right? And that's what happened. And, like, when a guy got shot by Peacemaker, he, like, exploded. And fucking Bloodsport was like, shit, you're right, that was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
And, like, they start to have a friendship, almost.
Yeah. And then you have Polka Dot Man, which he knows what he's there for. Like, he's not the main lead. He's there. Like in that scene where they're trying to get the Thinker to help them.
Yeah.
And, like, almost, like, every character is saying something except Polka Dot Man. And, like, once everyone's done, he just says, yeah. Like, it's just like he knows what he's there for.
Yeah,
he's supposed to be kind of like the background character. And I was watching Red Letter Media's Half in the Bag for Suicide Squad. Polka Dot Man is I think it was Jay that said this. Polka Dot Man, or it was either Jay or Mike. One of them said Polka Dot Man is a joke, but they don't treat him as a joke. He's a joke character. He's not treated as a joke in the film. He's treated as serious as the character needs to be in the film.
He's treated as
I think the only time they make fun of him, an actual character makes fun of him, is the fact that someone says, "You shoot polka dots."
That's it. Yeah, like you kind of put, and that was Calendar Man that called him a pussy.
Yeah, that was Calendar Man. Yeah. I mean, but he does shoot polka dots, but they neglect to mention that it fucking melts people.
Exactly, like the polka dots melt you. Oh, you know what was funny, right? Peacemaker, or John Cena's character, was the only person who guessed what his powers were. He's like, wait, do you shoot polka dots at people? He shoots polka dots at people, doesn't he? And he asked Waller that, and no one said anything. And then he was like, and then when he saw him do it, when he saw Polka Dot Man actually shoot somebody, like, shoot out polka dots, he was like, I was right! You do shoot out polka dots!
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, like, that, it was such it was such an it was such an enjoyable movie. Like like you said, Polka Dot Man is a joke character, but he's not treated as a joke. No one makes like hell. The few times he is made fun of is like just by Calendar Man. I mean that's the only person who makes fun of him is Calendar Man, and that was pretty much it. He's treated like a serious character. So for as silly as the movie as you think the movie would be, it had a good balance of comedy and like serious moments.
Yeah. And then we have Ratcatcher 2. One of the obvious other main stars of this film. I liked it.
So did I.
I really liked her character. She's kind of the heart of the film.
Yeah, she's the moral. She's the morality.
She's the morality of the film, alongside to a degree Flag, and then also Bloodsport. Although Bloodsport will just like hide it behind, I just want to live.
Yeah, like the thing about that.
But he does, but Bloodsport does care, because like when Ratcatcher 2, like she's giving her own backstory, and he's like, don't worry, I'm gonna get you out of here alive. Because he kind of like reminds him of his daughter.
Yeah. And she says like, I'm gonna get you out of here alive. And it was like the most wholesome fucking moment between the two of them.
Yeah. And she's the one that tries to like get everyone to convince her. No, King Shark is here to help. Okay, we just got to get him to understand. Like after he tried to eat her.
Exactly. Yeah. Like she's the one who tried.
It's like you've never had friends. It's like we're your friends, right? And it works.
Yeah, because King Shark's basically like a child to a degree.
He's a child in a fucking tank.
Yeah.
He's the heavy hitter. He's a child. He's like reading a book upside down. He's like, King Shark, me read, me smart.
See, like, remember? I will say one thing though. He did nothing in the movie. He was like fucking useless.
That's kind of the problem. I did like King Shark for what he was, but he was kind of nothing in the film.
Yeah, he felt like a nothing character, honestly.
Same with one of the other main leads, Harley Quinn. She is the biggest like she stuck out too much for not good reasons. She is much better compared to how she's portrayed in Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey.
Yeah, everything else.
But her stuff is so disconnected from the rest of the story.
Honestly,
like, she has her own side story in the film, and it really feels so out of place, despite happening in the same area.
Honestly, she feels like a character that we were forced to do. She felt obligatory. She didn't feel like she was meant to be a part of the movie. She felt obligatory, like somebody that they had to have in the movie to me. Because, like, it was expected that Harley Quinn would be in the movie, you know? Because she's attached to...
All e-girls were cosplaying as her after Suicide Squad. We have to have her.
Exactly. Like, that's what it mostly felt like. It felt like she was, like that James Gunn was required to have her in the movie more than wanting her to be in the movie, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. And then also to a degree, like, also with the comics, like, Harley being, like, pretty much a mainstay.
For the Suicide Squad, yeah.
The Suicide Squad, yeah. Like, except for currently, considering they kind of somewhat are influenced by this movie, because Peacemaker is leading the team in the comics. But you have people like Talon, like, fucking one of the Talons from the Court of the Owls is one of the team members.
Wait, they have a talent?
Yeah, Harley really feels like she's only there because of like how popular Harley is.
Yeah.
Her stuff was like her whole story is like after the misdirect, she gets captured, and turns out the guy that led the coup at Corte Maltese
is in love with her.
Is in love with her. He's like, I want you to marry me. And then Harley's like, nope, Because I'm guessing her character development was not to is not fall for like dangerous, like obviously evil men. So she just kills him, then gets in prison, and then she later escapes. And
Yeah.
I like the fight scenes in that escape, but like it just went on for too long.
Yeah, that was my issue too. Like I felt like it went on for too long, and it was like, we get it. Like Harley can fight, but like, dude, it was so long winded. Like there was no need to have it to make it that long.
Yeah, it should have just it, at a point it should have stopped, and then it goes to the whole. She's like she meets them and is like, "What are you guys doing?" And it's like we're here to rescue you. It's like, oh, I can go back in.
Yeah, that one was funny because she was just like, "Oh my god, you wanted to rescue me?" And then she's like, "Yeah, it was a good plan too." And then she's like, "Oh, I can go back in if you want me to." That was funny.
Yeah.
I'll admit that one was funny.
And then also some like, there's also some like scenes that were kind of pointless. Those jokes that fell flat. Like that scene where fucking King Shark finds those little like jellyfish creatures.
Yeah.
Like that was like so pointless.
I have no
What was
idea
that?
what was that.
It really felt like James Gunn wanted every member to have their own kind of scene to themselves somehow.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work with all characters. It works with Bloodsport. It works with Peacemaker. It works with Flag. It works with Ratcatcher. It just doesn't. It works with Polka Dot Man. It just doesn't work like King Shark. Like what can you do with King Shark?
Pretty much, yeah. Because you made
it's such a pointless thing. It was like, oh, I found new dumb friends. And then when the glass breaks, it turns out they all wanted to eat him.
Yeah, like what's funny about
and
that?
They all just bite into him, and then when he like falls out, they all die anyway, and he's now there to fight the fucking soldiers.
And he doesn't
it's such a pointless scene.
And you know what's funny about that? He doesn't really fight the soldiers either. Like,
he just eats one.
Yeah, he eats one, and that's pretty much it. And it's just like, and the others run away, and it's like, here's one of my things, right? Why not instead of like making this like pointless fucking character? Why not like make him an average intelligent guy who's kind of an asshole, and then you can give him a meaningful scene, you know? Like instead of just because I don't really get the reason behind making him stupid in the first place. Like I don't really understand what was like accomplished by that.
Yeah.
Other than being like new dumb friends, it's like all right.
Yeah. And then there was some jokes that didn't land, like the whole like Ratcatcher was like, "What's that?" Well, it's like, "That's a projector." Do people still use that? No. And why is it there? Is it supposed to be some like weird millennial joke?
Yeah, I guess
it was such a nothing scene.
Yeah, I guess like I said, I guess it's supposed to be like a joke about like millennials and like, you know, and how the government has like a bunch of old shit laying around, but it just felt so pointless. It's just like, I mean, I guess I get the joke on some level, but it just seemed like out of nowhere. Like, oh, I mean, okay, I guess that happened. Like, that's basically the only thing I can say about that joke is, well, I mean, that happened, I guess.
Yeah. But, this all leads to ScarJo being freed. Accidentally being freed, and them deciding we're gonna stay and fight it. Which leads to, like, Waller's people kind of leading a coup against her.
Yeah, that, okay.
One of them just knocks her out because... But that's something we didn't even mention. Waller is just straight up evil in this film.
Okay.
Compared to the previous one, where she's morally grey.
This was a bit of a controversy between the two of us, actually. Here's my thing. I kind of feel like it's... So, this is what I kind of feel like. I kind of feel like Waller is lawful evil. And I'll read the description for people who don't know what lawful evil means. So, like, they can understand what I mean when I say lawful evil. Give me 1 second. Alright. Let me get to it. Here we go. Alright. There we go. Lawful evil. Here we go. So people understand when I say lawful evil. A lawful evil villain methodically takes what he wants within the limits of his code of conduct without regard for whom it hurts. He cares about tradition, loyalty, and order, but not about freedom, dignity, or life. He plays by the rules, but without mercy or compassion. That's what Waller reminds me of. She reminds me of a lawful evil villain. That's somebody who is distinctly evil, but works within the parameters of the law or whatever code she has. By her code, which is America's interests supersede everything else. That's why she didn't care that a hostile country was about to be destroyed by Starro or taken over by Starro, because that's one less hostile country that we have to deal with, even if, like, eventually Starro is going to, like, expand and trying to kill everybody else, so like, it doesn't really make any sense. But, like, and I think, Chris, your position is that she was never definitely evil, but, like, morally gray, right?
Yeah, like the first film, she's morally gray. In the comics and most adaptations, she's morally gray. Like, now this one, she's like smiling after, like, the fake Suicide Squad is killed off.
Yeah, because she wanted
to. She's like,
yeah, because she wanted them to die so that they would act as a distraction for the real Suicide Squad. They were just a distraction.
Yeah. And, like, it's like telling, like, threatening to kill Bloodsport and everyone else if they don't leave Corto Maltese after Starro is freed.
Yeah, or
I feel like I do agree. Like, if Starro wipes out Corto Maltese, that takes away one potential threat. But then Starro is just going to continue.
Exactly.
It's just going to be It's going to be a threat to America as well.
Eventually, yeah. So it makes no sense.
Doesn't want it. It felt weird that she would just say, "Yeah, don't do anything, just go."
Yeah, it made no sense considering, like you said, like, he would just become a threat to America eventually anyway. And
also, I just remembered, she wanted Peacemaker to cover up everything. Wouldn't Starro being alive go against that?
Exactly, because if Starro's alive, then like, eventually
can communicate through hosts.
Exactly. Eventually what happened is going to come back to haunt them anyway. Like, it was better if they killed Starro, because, like, there's no trace of what America actually did or took part in anyway. It just felt
weird that she wanted everything to do with Starro gone, but then not Starro itself once it got freed.
You know what? If James Gunn knows anything about comics, I bet it was just an attempt for him to get to, like, have Waller, like, have some comeuppance. I bet you that's what that was about. Because
she hardly does.
I
think she never has a comeuppance. She gets told off, but she doesn't learn, or no one, like, physically just, like, gets back at her.
Exactly.
Like, sometimes it'll just like Batman or Superman will just intimidate her, but, like, it's fucking Waller of all people. She doesn't care.
Exactly. So, like, she just kind of.
There's a reason why she's referred to as the Wall. Like, she's just blank.
Pretty much,
ever standing. Hardly anything can bring her down.
Exactly. She always has, like, a backup, and she always has a plan. And it's like, even if you threaten her, it doesn't matter anyway, because she always has some, like, fail safe. And she, like, she really only deals with, like, really villains who aren't capable of actually fighting her back, like your Kite Mans and shit, or, like, superheroes who wouldn't do anything to her anyway. So she's kind of got a veil of protection. Like, I mean, can you imagine, like, Lex Luthor being intimidated by, like, Waller? Like, I just can't. Not unless he's, like, not unless he's in some incredibly weakened state, and even then, it's Lex Luthor. He would, like, spend the rest of his life just to get back at her.
Yeah.
So, like, Waller never really has anything to ever worry about. And honestly, I honestly felt like part of that was just an excuse for James Gunn to, like, finally to take Waller down a peg or two.
Yeah.
In the most painful way possible. She gets hit by a golf club. Holy shit. she gets knocked out by a fucking golf club. That was fucking hilarious. I love that. I'm gonna be honest with you, Chris. I did love that scene. That was funny. Like, I usually like villains, but I really did love seeing her get her comeuppance. Finally, because it never happened to Waller.
Yeah. That leads to the Suicide Squad essentially going rogue and deciding to take down Starro.
Yeah.
They all of them take part in dealing with Starro. Polka Dot Man gets killed. It was obvious. It was very obvious he was going to get killed. It's like, I'm a hero. I'm a superhero now. And dies.
Yeah, he just gets stepped on, and I'm like, like Polka Dot Man. Why did you kill him? He was so wholesome. I love Polka Dot Man. He was so wholesome.
They end up defeating Starro. They essentially blackmail Waller. Just like, let us live, or we're gonna release all this info.
Yeah.
So she has no choice but to let them live.
Seriously, yeah, because like they'll like release all the info, and she has no choice.
Yes.
At that point.
And then we get two post-credit scenes. One is extremely pointless, which is the reveal that Weasel is alive. That was like that did not need to be a post-credit scene. That was another pointless scene.
Who wasn't excited to see Weasel alive? You know.
Wow, Weasel. But the second one is to lead up into the Peacemaker TV show, because during the final confrontation with Bloodsport kills him. So we believe. Peacemaker somehow survived. And that is the little tie-in that leads into the Peacemaker show. Which they should have announced after the film, to be honest.
Yeah, because like it's such a dead giveaway that he was one of the people who survived. Yeah.
Also, I just don't like it in general when people when like studios or whatever, they get they're too full of themselves, thinking, oh yeah, this is definitely going to work. We're going to have all these like things that branch off out of it. Always like when they announce like a sequel to a film before the film even comes out, or like the TV show comes out. Like, can you wait until you get like the audience reception before you decide?
Yeah.
What if it turns out this show fucking sucks ass?
Yeah, exactly.
Gets only like 500,000 views.
Seriously.
Per episode.
Like go ahead.
No, that's not good ratings. Unless you're the CW, where you can still afford to fucking pump out more terrible seasons for some reason.
Exactly, like that's what happens so often now. You have like these studios that'll just pump out like anything, really. Like they'll pump out these shows that haven't really proven that they should be given more episodes.
Yeah.
But more and more people, but like for some reason, you know, without even being proven to be good or not, but like for some reason, companies will just throw money at like anything and say, "Oh, okay, I guess this will be a good return." Like I guess it's just that easy to get money. Like Chris, you and I should make a movie. We should make a movie about something.
And I'm proud to announce that even before that movie is out, we're already making a sequel.
A sequel and 4 spin-offs of each character.
No, we're taking the James Cameron route. We're making 4 films, and we're going to take 2,000 years to finish them.
There's a fucking Avatar video game before any of the sequels.
Avatar 2.
I know, right?
It's not even like, oh yeah, COVID delayed Avatar 2. I'm like, bullshit. Fucking whatever else happened delayed Avatar 2 before COVID even existed.
Exactly. He made Alita before he made fucking Avatar 2.
Yeah.
And like, holy shit, which is a movie I've been meaning to watch, by the way, because it looks fucking...
Oh, right. I remember buying it just on Xbox, but like, I haven't watched it yet. But, yeah, so, final thoughts. What are your final thoughts on The Suicide Squad?
Alright, my final thoughts, I thought it was a good movie, but it had too many useless scenes, I felt like. Like,
useless scenes, characters that could have been cut out.
Yeah, that's basically it. I felt like it had too many useless scenes and characters that, like, definitely could have been cut out. But beyond that, though, I thought it was pretty fucking good, to be honest with you. I thought it was a pretty good movie. Like, I especially liked, what do you call it? the chemistry between the characters. Like, the characters had great chemistry with each other. They were fun,
Yeah.
they were interesting, they were like great characters, they had good moments with each other. They felt like they were in an actual team. I loved seeing them kill people together. Like, that was fucking great. The comedy was really on point. Like, the comedy was really good. Like, I really liked the comedy. I thought it was like a highlight of the movie. Like, some of it fell a little flat though, I agree. Like, usually, like, when it came to, honestly, like, my biggest, if I had to point out my issues with the movie, they would be Harley Quinn and King Shark. And that's because I felt King Shark was ultimately a pointless character, and I thought Harley Quinn was, like, there was only one good scene with her in the movie, and that was when she started killing people. Other than that, I felt like she was useless. Also, the villains. Oh my god, I hated how the villains had a non-presence in this movie.
Oh yes, and to clarify, this is the human villains.
Yes, the human villains.
The ones that led the coup on Cordo Maltese. It's this, which is funny. We both noted this and Black Widow are both 2 hours long. One doesn't feel like 2 hours long, and that's Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
We were actually surprised that it was actually about 2 hours, over 2 hours long.
Because it
did
doesn't
not
feel
like
that long.
The pacing was done really well. I didn't feel like it was a slog to watch through, like Black Widow.
Exactly.
And the same problem they had is that the villains were weak.
Yeah.
The villains in Black Widow were weak. The human villains the Suicide Squad were weak as well.
Yeah, they
Starro
were
was just there. Big alien wants to take over. It's simple. It's the bare bones basic when it comes to Starro. But yeah, the human villains were just so weak. They were there to kind of drive the plot along. Same with the resistance chick that helps Flag.
Yeah.
She's only there to get them like into the city.
Yeah, she has like
She
no
was
presence.
she was kind of a nothing character, and then when she reappears at the end, is like, "We're the resistance. We're here to take back the city." And it's like, "Oh yeah, you're in this film."
Yeah, I forgot you were here. Welcome back. Because like they have no real presence in the movie.
No.
And it's just like, if you're gonna have, and my thing is, if you're going to have characters in a movie, right? If you're going to have villains in a movie, at least give them a fucking presence. Like, it was more egregious, I feel like, in this movie than in Black Widow than it was in this movie, because in Black Widow we only really had two villains, right? Since, like, well, technically one, since all of the antagonists were basically being, like, mind controlled and shit. And we saw him, and we barely saw any of him. And when we did see him, he had no presence. He just felt like a nothing villain with no real purpose other than just to be there. Like, I don't even understand why he was there in the first fucking place, because he had no real purpose or no real presence. He just felt like he was there for the point of being there. That's it. He just really didn't feel like an actual villain. He just felt just like an extra character. He just felt like a side character that had like a few evil lines. And the reason why I say it was so egregious was because he was technically the only villain in the movie, because Taskmaster, spoiler alert, was just his mind controlled daughter. And if you only have one villain to juggle all of that, how am I supposed to see him? Like, I have to see him as a threat in some way, you know? He just can't be like, he has to be threatening in some way, or else, like, he serves no real purpose in the movie.
Yeah. Like like in the Suicide Squad, it's just for like a Harley side story that gets killed off, and then the other one is just his replacement that really doesn't do anything.
Yeah, pretty much, which is weird because, like, like, I guess it was supposed to be a subversion. Oh, this is a serious villain that's going to have like a plot, an actual like plot in the movie. But no, it was subverted. That's one thing I will say I hated about the movie, that it did a lot of subversions. And like, I can understand that subversions can be interesting, but not if they're overly used. And I felt like they just overdid the subversion thing over and over and over again, to like the point where it just felt kind of ridiculous. Because it's like, okay, so I'm not supposed to take this villain seriously at all, I guess? Is that it? Like what's the point of him being in the movie if he's only going to be in here for a few minutes and he gets killed in the most ridiculous way possible? And then you had Tinker, who was like a known villain, and he had like no fucking like presence in this movie, like none. He was like
he was there to move the plot along.
Which is, yeah, and honestly, you could, like, I think you're the one who said this. You could have like done the movie without him. That's how little of how much of a presence he lacked. You could have had the movie without him, because like all he did was exposition dump. That's it.
Exposition and get them into Jotunheim.
Yeah, which is what somebody else could have done.
Yeah.
It's like if you're gonna like, and he's like a known villain too, which is kind of disappointing, because like for like little like faceless villains, like who weren't all that important, like the human villains, like the general or whatever, okay, fine, whatever. But for like the Tinker, he's like a known villain. Like, put a bit more respect on his name than that. Like, shit. Anyway, so like, I guess that's enough of my rant. So what did you think, Chris? What were your thoughts about the movie? Like,
yeah, except for a few scenes, jokes, and characters, I enjoyed this film. It was definitely, well, it was leagues better than the first Suicide Squad, which was just god awful.
Okay.
Yes.
No, I'm sorry. I was just saying. I was just listening.
You just think okay.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, yeah.
So, but yeah, I enjoyed this film. It was a lot of fun. I liked the majority of the characters, especially the characters I didn't think I'd actually really care about. Like, I have no idea who Bloodsport is, or I know who Ratcatcher is. Not Ratcatcher 2. I know who Ratcatcher is, but and Peacemaker and all that. But no, I really like their characters. I like their chemistry, their dynamics. It was done really well. This is a really good film. So if I had to rate it, maybe a 7.5 out of 10. It's good. It's good. It's a good film. That's at least I'd base the 7 or 7.5 on. It's good. I'd say like 8 or higher would be like fucking like best thing in existence. But this was a good, enjoyable film.
Okay, here's my question for you then. What would make it a 8 for you? Like, or an 8 or a 9 for you?
8 or 9, I don't know. Maybe if they kind of just took out Harley's stuff. If the human villains were a bit better, or they were just the human villains were just not really there. They were just like they were mainly just like grunts to get killed. Just make Starro the overall villain. You actually could have just had it that Starro was manipulating everything all along in order to escape.
Yeah.
Like maybe the Thinker was actually in league with Starro the entire time.
Ooh, that would have been an interesting plot. That would have been a good comic book plot. Like, that would have been a good comic book plot right there.
Like Thinker was actually helping. Thinker infiltrated Jotunheim, actually helped free Starro. And it's just the Suicide Squad was just mixed into it somehow.
I would have liked that. I think I would have liked that plot, actually. That wouldn't have been bad.
Yeah. So something like that. Cut down like some of the unnecessary scenes or jokes. Make Thinker and the other human villains a bit more impactful in some way. That would have bumped it up to an 8.
Yeah, I agree. Let me see. For me, I think I have the same complaints as you. Actually, I can't really think of anything that's too different from where you're coming from. But other than that,
Yeah.
though, yeah, because we both liked the movie. Like, I mean, when I went in there, initially, I'm gonna be honest. Initially, first watched this movie, I thought it was gonna suck. Because I watched it initially with Jest and Nerd, right? And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is probably gonna fucking suck. I have no interest in watching this fucking movie.
I,
But
I felt like, honestly, like, it looked promising, but I felt like it was just going to be Guardians of the Galaxy, but DC. And it
huh?
really isn't. Even though it's also done by James Gunn.
Yeah, it does feel different.
Yeah. It's not like where, like, fucking, it's like Guardians 2, where they really like hit it like really drummed in with like the comedy. It's like, oh, everyone liked the comedy, so everyone's the comic relief, and it's like, no, that's not why people like the comedy of the first film. Like Drax having becoming more of a comic relief character. They just happened to be funny. That's what made them funny.
I
They
think
weren't supposed to, but like everyone had to be the comic relief in the second film.
I think that's a problem that like is way too common in with
In Marvel,
in Marvel. Yeah, that's way too common in
we need the
Marvel.
Marvel humor,
We
Marvel
need
comedy. Everyone has to quip.
everyone has to quip and everyone has to be funny. Like it's just
It's not like only Spider-Man really does that. Spider-Man is supposed to be a quippy character.
yeah, like when you take and when everyone is Spider-Man, no, like I mean, then no one is serious and no one takes anything seriously. Remember the scene in what's it called? Remember the family scene in Black Widow where they were all at the table and they were like, and it was like a reunion. It was like and Scarlett and Black Widow's mom was like, don't slouch when you're eating or something like that. And then like the daughter said, and then Yolanda said, I'm not slouching. Hey, that's not fair. And it's like they were trying to like play up the comedy of the scene, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I
Well, at
mean,
least with that one, not everyone was being the comedic character. Like,
yeah, Black Widow was the only one who was like
yeah,
serious, I guess.
Scarlett Johannson was the only like serious person in that because she's only there for one purpose, and like,
Yeah,
uh, everyone else, Melena and fucking Red Guardian were just like fucking flirting with each other, and then just Melena just going back into mum mode with Yelena.
yeah.
To be like, don't slouch.
Don't slouch. And then
Yeah.
Scarlet, and then like Black Widow sort of like sits up so she doesn't slouch. And it's just like I don't know. I will tell you one thing though that I found ridiculously pointless. What was the point of like the scene with with Yelena and Red Guardian? What was the point of that? What was the point of that scene? Where he was telling her about like his hands and shit and how like his father shit in his hand so he wouldn't get hypothermia. Like what
I
was the
don't
point
know.
of that scene? It seems so fucking pointless though, Chris. And I'm just like, this is fucking terrible if this is supposed to be like if this is like this was so like I guess it was supposed to be funny, but it was just so like random and out of nowhere that it just seemed pointless as shit. I don't know, or maybe you and I aren't aren't like sophisticated enough to understand Black Widow. You need a Rick and Morty level IQ to understand Black Widow.
So what would you rate it?
I would rate it.
The
Okay,
Suicide Squad.
the Suicide Squad. I want to say an 8. I kind of want to give it an 8 because, and hear me out why. Because I thought it was decent. I thought it was a good I thought it was a good movie. Like all of the positives that we've talked about, like the comedy, the humor, the characters, they outweighed a lot of the negatives for me, and there really weren't that many negatives. I think that there were only like four negatives, and that was Harley Quinn, King Shark, and the human villains. Other than that, I didn't. Other than that, yeah, I like. Other than that, I like the movie enough to where I'm saying, yeah, an 8, a solid 8 for me. Because I don't know, I really dug it. I thought it was a really good movie. Now, like one thing I do want to watch if we ever do watch it, I wouldn't mind watching is I'm kind of curious if Dune is terrible or not because I've seen because apparently Dune is coming out and I'm like I wonder.
Oh yeah, the remake.
Yeah, I wonder if this is gonna be terrible. I mean, it's current year, so like anything's possible, I guess.
Who knows?
Alright, is there anything you're looking forward to, Chris? Any movies coming out you're looking forward to?
Not really. I don't even know what's coming out.
Ooh, check for us real quick. Let's see what's coming out.
It's 2021 in film. Let's see. Actually, I don't think there really is anything. I'll check a different. Okay. Huh. What are we in? We're in August.
Yeah, I had to find your text file number.
Oops, sorry, I'm back.
Welcome back.
I don't know. There isn't really anything here that seemed interesting.
So what is coming out then? Like what's on the list there?
What else? There's the Venom sequel. There's Ghostbusters Afterlife. There's also Spider-Man, the third one. Other than that, I don't know anything else about these other ones, but like those are the big ones I can name that are coming out later this year.
All right, the Venom sequel and
there really is.
There really.
Oh yeah, it's Shang-Chi.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to Shang-Chi here.
Oh my god, the action scene!
Oh my god, the shitty action is gonna be amazing! He did a flip! Shang-Chi did a flip! Are you excited about the breakneck action of Shang-Chi?
No.
Like I just said, no. He's like, I can't. While it would be unfair to say that it's definitely going to suck. Like, I don't think it'll be that great. I think what you'll get is like a mediocre Marvel movie that'll do about as well as Black Widow. That's basically what I think. I think it'll do about as well as Black Widow. I think Black Widow kind of set the standard for what's going to happen with Marvel movies going forward. I just don't see them doing like billion-dollar box offices and shit. At least not at the moment anyway, because like Shang-Chi really isn't built up as a character in the MCU, and there's not like a lot of buzz about it. At least I don't see a lot of buzz about it, and it just doesn't seem that interesting. Like, it just seems just boring. Also,
Yeah.
apparently the director isn't an action director either.
Oh, that sounds smart.
So, like, I mean, if it's not like an action director, then what am I supposed to look forward to? It's just like it's a drama director, and I'm like, So let me understand this shit. So the director is a drama director. Like, what the fuck? Are you fucking serious? It's a fucking drama director for an action-packed, like, kung fu movie. But, I mean, like I said, I'm not surprised with the way Marvel's been going. I'm so excited. Sounds very good, comrade. Anyway, so, is there anything else you want to talk about, Chris?
No, I think that's it.
Alright. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, unless you or I have a schedule change, I don't think anything. I think this is. I think we're gonna keep it going, like we're doing now. Bringing you like hard-hitting cultural entertainment news or something.
Yes.
Is there even any gaming news coming out?
No.
Really?
I know Diablo 2 came out.
Oh, the remaster or whatever.
Resurrected. I think that came out.
I didn't even know that came out. Holy shit.
Or maybe the beta did. Oh no, it's September. I think a beta or something came out.
Oh shit. Like the only thing fuck. It's not coming out until September.
The open multiplayer beta came out this month.
Jesus.
If anyone cares with
not really. What's going on with Blizzard? Yeah, no one gives a shit. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Like, it's been dead, man. As far as like news and news shit and culture shit, like it's been. There's not even any real drama. Oh wait. There is some. Keemstar flagged H3H3's channel. I mean, I don't blame him. I think what happened was that H3H3 made it, insinuated that Keemstar is a pedophile because his girlfriend...
his girlfriend's like 20 or 21.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And it's just like, so, while, as a general rule, you're not supposed to, you're never supposed to flag and do any of that shit, Ethan's kind of a scumbag, and it's gay that he got flagged. That's gay, but Ethan's kind of a piece of shit. So, well, shit happens, I guess. Like, that's kind of my opinion about it. Yes, he shouldn't have flagged Ethan, but you know what? Ethan's a piece of shit, and I mean, he insinuated the guy was a fucking pedophile. So, I mean, I'm not gonna fucking sit here and, be shaking with anger because, a piece of shit got, because something bad happened to a piece of shit. Again, he shouldn't have did it. You don't flag. Flagging is gay. But on the other hand, Ethan's a piece of shit. So, I don't have too much sympathy. Even though I probably should, but you know what? Fuck it. There you go. That's my fair and balanced take on the situation. Ethan's a piece of shit, and so is Keemstar.
There's no good people in this.
No, there's not. There's no good. Oh, and the Quartering actually made a good point. He said the only people who are really going to lose in this situation are smaller YouTubers because, Ethan and Keemstar are already, super fucking rich. Keemstar has fucking companies that he's making, right? And Ethan has, Teddy Fresh, and he's a multimillionaire. Whereas the rest of us are going to have, more severe rules placed on us. We're going to have, more, policies placed on what we can and can't talk about. And this could just end up, hurting the community of, commentary, in general. Whereas nothing's going to happen to them. So, you know what? Fuck them. That's kind of, that's kind of how I feel at the moment. Fuck them. I mean, nothing's going to happen to either of them, but, all sorts of shit's going to happen to us. So, anyway, well, I think
Yeah.
That's about everything. Unless you want to add something to the conversation.
No, I think that's it.
Alright, cool. So, I guess I'll play it. I guess I'll, do our outro as I always do. Thank you for joining Ozzy, Chris, and I on the Minorities Report. I'm Corrupt.
Chris?
And we'll be back with you next week for more hard-hitting, political journalism.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, goodbye.
Wait.